Within advertising you see that there's a lot of stereotypes and a lot of photographers that make only specific advertising photography. So I already for a long time broke with that and worked with a lot of different photographers that never worked in that industry. So that's why I got to know quite a lot of people. And myself, I had also at a certain moment very much the interest to look at images that were less perfect than sometimes seen and needed in advertising. And that brought me also to look at a lot of amateur photographs on flea markets, online. And yeah, more and more I was also trying to find like stories in there. That was kind of my hobby also, that I transferred sometimes to my professional work. Then I also deliberately tried to make certain mistakes in there. And but the work I do for myself is with these images is that I make books and exhibitions about it. In a show like Fabulous Failures, just to try to point these stories out to people. In a way it's kind of a reappropriation of existing imagery. We live now in a renaissance of imagery. I mean, we see more image before lunch than somebody in the 18th century saw in his whole life. So that means that, I mean, people are editors anyway already, like normal people, because you have to choose every day what you see, what you want to read, what you want to hear. But I think that some artists nowadays, they are kind of super editors because they go so deep and they find really the gold nuggets in there and then bring them to the surface and show them in a certain way or in a slightly different way. So just for people to kind of enjoy them again and pause maybe a little bit at that story and in the clutter of images. We live in a world where everything is perfect. I mean, the cameras on our phones, they record the darkest light. I mean, they are so perfect that we need almost applications on our phone to fuck them up and to really make them look more authentic or more bad. And the navigation systems that we have bring us exactly where we want to be. There's no mistake. Computers make no mistakes. So, but this perfection that there is in society or in the creative industries, and that is also not a very good starting point for an artist or for an architect or for any other creative person, because where do you go from there? In my professional work at the agency, I constantly review ideas. I look at other people's work. So it's my job almost to pick certain good ideas out, and those are often ideas that maybe disrupt a little bit or are different or are yeah, where also serendipity plays a role in it. It's a bit like image archaeology because you dig in it and you see if the puzzle fits together, and yeah, it's very strange sometimes what you find. In that sense, I'm also a bit more than a composer than that I play the violin myself. When there's a photo festival, there's of course 40, 50 exhibitions, and some are quite serious. So in my case, I'm quite explicit with that a lot of the works there are quite humoristic and ironic, and create a smile on people's face. And I think it's also interesting to make a very light exhibition, and so I included also a lot of strange sounds in the exhibition and strange kind of displays of the work. And it's also a way to communicate with the public of the exhibition. I mean, to make a book is one thing, and it has a certain, that needs a certain attention, and it's a certain medium. But a book is not the same, or a photograph in itself is not the same as an exhibition. There's a Danish duo in the show called Pat Pat, and what they do, they make in a way sculptures and make interventions on daily objects, and that's where they make sculptures of. So for instance, when they have a chair, and one leg of the chair is unequal, they just put like a tennis ball underneath. or they make the back of a chair with a big leaf of a plant. It's just and they make pictures of these sculptures in a way, of these interventions. So, for instance, a leg of a table is made by a baguette, and then those are interesting ways of looking at things, and they make us look at the ordinary and looking at it in a more extraordinary way. Tim Ulrichs is an artist from Germany in the exhibition. He's a German artist that had maybe 300 solo shows in the 70s, 80s and 90s in Germany, but has never shown any piece outside of Germany. I discovered him by also the books he made in that period. I saw these 9 landscapes that he traditionally framed, beautiful spheric landscapes with a horizon in the middle of the picture. And at the end of the line of photographs you saw a 10th frame, and in that frame you saw that there were the strips of the negatives, so it's the starting strip of the film where you have like a little cutted edge and where the film starts, and that was the frame he took to produce those landscapes. And so that work is something for me, I never forget that. I mean, it stays in my head, I talk with people about it, I'm getting very, very enthusiastic about that. Paul Bogaerts is a Dutch artist in the middle of Holland, in a place called Tilburg. He's also, in a way, maybe not so much a photographer, but he uses his eyes really. I mean, he finds images, also makes images himself, but then always makes certain combinations of those. One of the most beautiful ones that I ever saw, and it's also in a way maybe one of the most beautiful images I have ever seen, or interventions I've ever seen, is that he took a picture, or he found a picture of a waterfall, like a small waterfall coming down a rock. He combined that right at the right place with a picture of with a wedding picture where the heads of the people that married were cut off, and the waterfall goes straight into the white wedding dress of the woman. And yeah, that's just, I show it like very big in this exhibition, and that's like a very monumental piece, and yeah, some people might find it silly but I mean, I have so much emotion with that image and with the intervention that he makes. Collage is one thing, but to do it in such a simple and I mean, I think a lot of the mistakes in the exhibition, they are either happen in front of the camera, like so what you see as serendipity, or they happen in the camera. There are camera glitches in the show where, for instance, a camera, just before he dies, he makes a few hopeless shots and they're very pink and very disturbed, and the digital is totally crashed, so that is also in the show. And then one of the more interesting things is that there are also a lot of mistakes that happen behind the camera, and that's like happen in the brain, and how somebody connects that and make an idea, and that is a very interesting part of making a mistake. Kent Rogowski found out in a way that that when you have photo puzzles from the same company, they have a standard factory cut. So that means that in a way, when you have a flower puzzle and a puzzle with a pony on there, then you can make an immediate collage of that. You can put one puzzle into the other puzzle, and that, in a way, it's a very simple idea. I wish I would have had it. It was beautiful. There is a photographer, Annegien van Doorn from Amsterdam, and a very talented girl, very original, and she made this kind of domestic happenings. That she makes interventions on everyday objects with certain other objects, and lets all kinds of accidents happen there. And it's just a video position on the floor, and yeah, that's quite popular amongst people. In a way, these kind of performances and events, they happened already quite a long time in history of art, but maybe not so much shown in the world of photography. Which is maybe also has to do that the boundaries of photography are stretching maybe a little bit, and they get wider, and there's more crossovers possible. Photography is a very liberal discipline, but all the freedom of it is not yet used, and yeah, that is a forward way to go, I think. One series that I also really like is by Johan von Cuberta. He found out that there are all these star systems that haven't been discovered yet. So there's all these constellations where he finds stars, meteorites, falling stars. So they're presented very precisely on huge frames. And then at the end of the line where you look at the pictures, you see that he just took them by taking pictures of his windscreen of the car. And it's just like mosquitoes that landed on there and then made these points. And when he took a picture at night with a dark background, it was a perfect constellation. And so the way of thinking like that is something I really like. I mean, von Cuberta is also somebody who worked for a long time already, but he remains a child, you know, so that is interesting to do. The fact that we are on the tipping point with photography and with photography and its perfection, that is something interesting, because there are people always then on the surface who try to break that and try to disrupt that and confuse people with their work.